אוקיי, שלום לכולם ולכל מי שהצטרף אלינו היום לוובינר בנושא מוצרי פורטרה לעולמות הגנה על מידע רגיש. שמי ירון חממי, סמנכ"ל מכירות ופיתוח עסקי בחברת מסג'נט. בהמשך אנחנו נצא עם סדרת וובינרים בדיפ דייב והנדס און, כמובן נפרסם ותראו את זה במדיות השונות. יחד איתי היום עמנואל אבן צור, מנהל טכנולוגי מחברת פורטרה, צבי מגנס, מנהל שותפים ומכירות אזורים מחברת פורטרה. היי צבי. אז כמו שאמרתי, שמי ירון חממי ואני מחברת מסג'נט, אנחנו נציגי פורטרה בישראל. כנציגי פורטרה בישראל אנחנו אחראים על כל נושא של ניהול השותפים, הפן השיווקי, תמיכה, ליווי שותפים, הדרכות, הסמכות, וכמובן שיווק לשוק הישראלי. למי מכם שלא מכיר את חברת פורטרה, כנראה גם לא שמע את השם, יצרן גלובלי. השנה יעבור את מחזור המכירות של $1 מיליארד, עם 18 סניפים בעולם, חברה גלובלית מאוד מוכרת, עם למעלה מ-30,000 לקוחות שמשתמשים גם בארץ וגם בעולם במגוון המוצרים. פורטרה היא פחות מוכרת בשם, אבל היא מאוד מוכרת במגוון המוצרים שהיא מחזיקה תחתיה. בהמשך צבי ייגע בדברים. במהלך הוובינר שיימשך כחצי שעה, אתם מוזמנים לשאול שאלות, להעלות את זה בחלונית הצ'אט, וכמובן בסיום הוובינר נשתדל לענות ככל שהזמן יותיר לנו. במידה ולא נספיק, אנחנו כמובן נענה לכם באופן פרטי. אז אני שמח להזמין את צבי מגנס להמשך הוובינר. צבי, בבקשה.
אוקיי, תודה ירון, תודה. רגע שנייה. אוקיי, תודה ירון. אני עובר לאנגלית, אם זה, אני מקווה שזה בסדר לכולם, כי זה יותר קל לי, זה הולך יותר חלק אם אני עושה את זה באנגלית. Okay, as Yaron mentioned, my name is Tzvi Magnus, and I'm an account manager with Fortra. I'm handling our offensive security tooling and vulnerability management scanning tools in Southern Europe, Africa, and of course in Israel. I should point out that Israel is an important market for us because of the high level of cybersecurity we have here. This is also why both myself and Emmanuel, who is our senior technical lead for offensive security, are located in Israel to help and support our customers and, of course, our strategic partner, MessageNet. So today I only have 2 slides to show you, so my part will be quick, and we can get to the more interesting part with Emmanuel. In this slide, what I want to show you, and Emmanuel, I need to share my...
Tzvi, just share your screen, please.
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. Just give me a second here. Whoops. Wow, okay. It always happens when you're, hold on a second. One second, guys, 1 second.
It's always confusing. In the bottom part of the window.
Yeah, I can see it, I see it. Just 1 second, guys. I think you can see my screen now. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Yes. Okay, good. Okay, as I was saying that if you look here, these are our solutions here at Fortra. Emmanuel and I are focused more on offensive security and vulnerability management. You can see that we have a very large range of tools. And the question sometimes comes up, how did Fortra become a leading cybersecurity solution vendor with such a wide variety of product lines? It's interesting. Essentially, our business model is that we search the globe for what we believe to be the best of breed security solutions. And then what we do is we invest heavily into R&D development and support of these new solutions. And what's very important is that all our newly acquired solutions need to be able to integrate into our existing product lines to create integrated bundles with our tooling. The idea, of course, is that we will be your vendor of choice for whatever cybersecurity solutions you need. So if you look at the next slide right here, this is my second and last slide. And this slide shows our 4 main product lines for vulnerability management and our offensive security tooling. They are designed, all these solutions, to be completely modular. They can be used separately or with integrated bundles for maximum performance. And the idea is that you can start anywhere you want based on your requirements. So for example, you can start all the way on the left with Fortra VM that does automated vulnerability scanning and risk management, for which actually supports 2 deployment options. So you have a MSP multi-tenant deployment for service providers and MSPs. That's really interesting for MSPs. It comes with a basically an unlimited IP license, but we can discuss if you're interested later on in the future. And we also have a second deployment for SMBs and enterprise size organizations that want to use the tool themselves to scan their networks and web applications. And then what you can do is you can work your way to the right as your security program matures. And we have Core Impact that does automated pen testing and has some very nice features, such as a step-by-step wizard for junior security engineers, has certified exploits, has a phishing module, and much more. And you can also test for IoT, SCADA, medical devices, and for service providers, which actually supports white label reports with Core Impact. And then we have Cobalt Strike. So I believe that most of the people that are working with red teaming and handling offensive security are familiar with Cobalt Strike. Cobalt Strike is the #1 red teaming tool in the market by far. There's very little competition. There's very few solutions that has the power that Cobalt Strike has. And then we move further to the right, we have OST. OST provides premium red team customized scripts and payloads and some very interesting features, including presets for EDRs and defensive tools that you're going up against. We really believe that this is a unique offer. We are truly the only vendor that has the expertise to provide the full range of our security solutions anywhere you are in your security program. I think that's it for my part, and now I'll pass this on to Emmanuel, our senior engineer for offensive security. Emmanuel, all yours. I hope you have less problems than I do sharing the screen. So
should be fine. Thank you. Thank you, Zvi. So I'll do the same. It's important for me to say that I do also speak Hebrew. אז אני אמשיך באנגלית, למרות שאני מדבר עברית וזה חשוב לשוק הישראלי. So I will switch to English and I will share my screen now. So happy to be with you here today. I'm sharing my screen. Just if you don't mind confirming that you see my screen, that would be nice. Yes, all good, perfect. So let's start. So I won't repeat what my colleague Zvi just said about those different tools. But my point here is to talk about the integrations between the different tools here, and I will talk about them individually. Okay, so let's start. So the first tool that we are going to talk about is Fortra VM. Okay, so Fortra VM is a vulnerability scanner. You can see here the dashboard. Okay, so basically I just took a screenshot of the dashboard, which shows you basically the main indicators about your security posture. So Fortra VM is a vulnerability scanner that does support infrastructure scanning, web application scanning, container scanning. It can scan with an agent, an agent that you would install on an endpoint or agentless. Okay, so with a VM scanner that includes all the tests that would run against your machines. It's a tool that that's very easy to use. So that's the key. Okay, there are a lot of vulnerability scanners out there, but the fact that it's very easy to use is something that's really important for the end users. And as we mentioned, it has an excellent MSP infrastructure that allows service providers to manage the customers in a very easy way. Okay, so just to remind it to you, I just also took a screenshot of the subscription. So as I said, infrastructure scanning, web application scanning, but also something that I didn't mention, which is threat scanning. Threat scanning is basically malware running a scan, not to scan for vulnerabilities, which this is done in the vulnerability scanning that you see on the top, but it's to scan a machine for malwares. Okay, so it will really check all the locations in which a malware can be, and will report whether malware was detected or not. Agent scanning was mentioned, container scanning. Of course, we also provide penetration, human manual penetration testing, but it's less relevant for this part. What's really relevant is the PCI scanning. Okay, so we are ASV certified, which means that we can run scans to deliver official PCI compliance report. Okay, so this is about Fortra VM. It has also something that's quite unique, and I think I need to mention that. It's the attack path. So you can see for each machine that you scan, you can see the attack path. So if this machine was to be exploited, then what is the path that the attacker, the hacker, could take inside the network? So that's quite important as well. So let me move now to the integration between Fortra VM and Core Impact. Okay, so for that, I have to explain what Core Impact is, what Core Impact does, etc. So Core Impact is a tool that, you know, I do not call it an automated pen testing tool, because it's not to be confused with those tools in which you will just click on a play button and it will scan, pen test a network, for instance, and you will get a report at the end, and the report will say, okay, you have to fix this and that, and you don't have any control on what you are doing. This is not what Core Impact is and what Core Impact does. So I have here just a slide that shows Core Impact. So of course this does not tell you much, but if you look at the bottom left of the screen, you will see RPT and modules. Okay, I try to put my mouse here so you can see it. So RPT and modules, and this is why I say it's not a fully automated tool, because it has some automations. The RPT stands for Rapid Penetration Tests. Okay, so in short, you have basically steps. So from the information gathering to the report generation. So information gathering, attack and penetration, local information gathering once you are inside the compromised machine. So you could exploit it successfully, and automatically Core Impact will deploy an agent inside that machine. The agent is just a process running there. It's the foothold that you have inside the compromised machine. And then privilege escalation, if relevant in your scenario, cleanup. So automatically you'll be able to clean up everything left behind you, and the report generation. So this is the automation. Now, if you want to run a more advanced pen test, then you will have a bunch of actions, bunch of exploits, and CVEs that you can run against your machine. Once again, it's really easy to use. You can drag basically and simply drag and drop the exploit against the machine. So very easy to use. Now, Core Impact is a tool that integrates with Fortra VM with the most known vulnerability scanners. Okay, so Qualys, Tenable, etc., OpenVAS and Tripwire, etc. But also the most known web application scanners, Qualys application web application scanner, Acunetics, and so on and so forth. With CoverStrike, of course, I'm going to talk about it in a minute, with ServiceNow, with the PlexTrack, which is a reporting tool. Core Impact also integrates with Metasploit, so you can bring your own, you can bring exploits from Metasploit to Core Impact. And Core Impact does allow you to play with the different exploits, meaning that you can edit the Python code behind each exploit, so to create your own customized exploits. So what is the integration between Fortra VM and Core Impact? Okay, so Fortra VM is a vulnerability scanner. Core Impact is a pen testing tool. So you will be able to import the scans from Fortra VM to Core Impact and basically exploit those vulnerabilities. As long as Core Impact has exploits for those vulnerabilities, then you will be able to import them and automatically try to exploit them. Why would that be useful? It will be useful to prioritize your remediation. So, you know, a vulnerability scanner in general will give you a rating, you know, a scoring a score, sorry, on each vulnerability will be either high, medium, low, etc. Now, something that's even medium or high might not be exploitable for many reasons on a network. So you'll be able to see in your specific network what's exploitable, and you will and you'll be able to know if exploitable, you know, what is the attack path inside the network, etc. So you can import your scans and automatically try to exploit them on using Core Impact. This is the integration. Once again, here, I'll just give a few words here about what you see. So in the middle, you see the different machines that were discovered. So after the information gathering, then we get what you see in the middle, so all the machines discovered. I run the attack and penetration on the second machine, the Windows machine that you see here, and below it, you will see the system agent. So I could successfully exploit this, okay? And it's all wizard-driven. I don't have to know any commands. I just drag and drop the module against that Windows machine, and it ran the exploit. And I could have the foothold, which is the system user inside that machine. And then you don't see the tool, but I will show it later. If I right-click on that, I'll be able to run Mimikat to get all the processor screenshots and many, many things that I need to know. And, you know, you can run golden ticket attack, silver ticket attack, Mimikat, but other tools, other methods to steal credentials, NTLM relay attacks, and much more. Extremely powerful tool. On the right-hand side, you see all the logs. Okay, so all the tasks that were run to exploit a machine or to run the information gathering. So you get all the logs of everything you are doing with Core Impact. Let's move next. Next is our integration between Core Impact and CobbleStrike. Okay. Once again, here I will start by explaining what CobbleStrike is. Although I'm pretty sure that if you are in the world of cybersecurity and offensive security, you must know CobbleStrike, because, as my colleague Zvi said, this is the most known and powerful C2 framework out there. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Okay, so I think that most of the C2s they have the same design. I mean the same look. But let's talk about CobbleStrike. So CobbleStrike is a C2 framework. C2 stands for Command and Control. Okay, so the main use case, okay, is to generate a payload. So you will generate the payload. This is what you need first. Then this payload, you are going to weaponize it. So you are going to put it on inside an output, okay, of any kind. Can be, usually it's done, you know, you are going to infect the remote machine with your payload, with your malware. CobbleStrike malware is called Beacon, via social engineering, and then you will put it on a macro, or you will put it, you can put it on an Excel sheet, etc. Okay. So, you know, simple example, I'm going to generate that payload, and I want to send it to someone that I want to attack or test. I'm going to put it on an Excel sheet. I will send an email to say, okay, you got a salary increase, please open the file. The person will, of course, will be willing to open that file. They will open the file and they will execute that payload. What's going to happen is going to send a reverse shell to my CobbleStrike team server, okay? And in my CobbleStrike client, I'll be able to see that I have access now to the compromised machine, okay? And this through a listener. A listener is basically a communication channel, might be HTTP, HTTPS, DNS, TCP, and so on. And I will be able to interact with that machine, okay? CobbleStrike is the most stable and the flexible C2 framework out there, because stable because we have a solid team of red teamers. These guys are also researchers and developers, of course. And so you do not have the risk that you have with, you know, open source tools, for example, in which, you know, stability is very important. You know, for instance, losing connectivity between the malware, the beacon, and the team server, it's a real issue, okay? And you don't know why it happens. Here, it's maintained by a solid team of developers. Second, very flexible because it's fully customizable, okay? if you want to be evasive with CobbleStrike, in theory, you can bypass any defenses. When I say defenses, I mean CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, antiviruses, EDR, XDR, you can bypass all of them as long as you know how to customize the different elements, evasive elements of the tools, okay, of the tool CobbleStrike. For those of you who know a bit the tool, then I'm talking about the C2 malleable profile and the sleep mask and the mutator kit and the artifact, etc. Okay. Now, what's the integration with Core Impact? The integration with Core Impact, as you can see here, is the passing of a session between Core Impact and CobbleStrike. I'll give you an example. I can start my initial access with Core Impact, meaning I can run, my attack and penetration, or just select any CVE and drag and drop it against a machine. This machine is successfully exploited. Automatically, Core Impact will deploy a foothold inside that compromised machine. So it can do that via different methods, but it can be, process injection, for instance. And I will get now my foothold. Then I go to CobbleStrike, I generate a payload with CobbleStrike, and I inject it on the process that was created thanks to the exploit that was done with Core Impact. And that way I will be able to interact with that compromised machine using Core Impact and CobbleStrike, using all the exploits that I have with Core Impact, already ready exploits, and the flexibility of CobbleStrike, which gives you, which provides you with extremely powerful tools for your pen test or red teaming operation. It will be more pen test here. So this is CobbleStrike, just showed it to you. And the next one and last integration is the one between CobbleStrike and OST. So CobbleStrike, we just talked about it, but OST is new here in our webinar. So OST stands for the Outflank Security Tooling, okay? And what is OST? So remember when I talked about CobbleStrike, I said that CobbleStrike can potentially bypass any defenses as long as you know how to customize the different evasive features. Now, this requires time, okay? So everything can be learned, and you have skilled people. That's not a problem, but it takes a lot of time, and in the long run, you want to save time on the creation of evasive payloads, evasive techniques to steal credentials, evasive techniques to move laterally, etc. And this is exactly where the Outflank Security Tooling, OST, comes into play. Why? OST is a portal with evasive tools that you can download and use with CobbleStrike, okay? So behind the OST tool, you have world-class red teamers, okay? The names of these guys are known internationally. They are giving conferences all over the world, and they created basically techniques. The portal covers the whole kill chain, okay, from the initial access to the exfiltration of data, for instance, passing by, the credential theft and lateral movement and much more. Now, the question would be, how you do that? How can you integrate OST and CobbleStrike? The answer is that most of the OST tools, they are provided as beacon object files. Now, for those of you who don't know what is a beacon object file, a beacon object file is a small C program that comes to extend the CobbleStrike capabilities. So you basically download the tool and use it with CobbleStrike, okay? And you make CobbleStrike evasive by doing that. To give you an example, something that would take you like weeks to do or days to do can be done in a few clicks with OST, literally in a few clicks. Important to mention that with OST, you do not have a regular support, like a ticketing system with a support team, and you expect like a generic reply after days. No, you get a dedicated Slack instance. Okay, so you can talk directly to the OST engineers. You can submit your use cases, say, I'm running a red team operation. I'm trying to bypass McAfee. I'm trying to bypass SentinelOne, etc. Can you review my configuration? And they will do that for you. So you can ask them your questions. And you also have access to the OST community, which is a community made of the OST customers which are very knowledgeable people. So this is, so as I said, through beacon object file, the integration is done through beacon object file and reflectively DLL loading techniques. Next is just a screenshot, as I did for the other tools, of the different, of the dashboard of the OST portal. So you can see here that it's divided into three main phases, the in, the through, and the out. For those of you who are familiar with the Tiber framework, it's basically based on that framework. The Tiber framework is a guideline, if you will, for red teamer. It was done it's in Europe, basically. And for each phase, you have different tools. So in the in phase, you have different tools. In the true phase, you have different tools. And OST has also a C2 framework called Stage 1, because it's more meant for the situational awareness phase of the red team. So it does not do the same as CobbleStrike. CobbleStrike will provide you more advanced techniques. This one is really for the reconnaissance phase. And the out phase, and here we have the beacon booster. This is a UDRL, so user-defined reflective loader that was created by the OST team to be used with CobbleStrike to bypass the Yara rules mainly. Okay. And finally, I talked a lot. It's a lot of information. So I thought that those resources would be nice for you, for those of you who are interested. And this will be shared with you after this call. But we have interesting information about those different tools and also demos. So you can see it practically on a recorded webinar or demo. Thank you. And I will leave the floor to Yaron.
אוקיי, תודה רבה עמנואל, תודה רבה גם לצבי. אז כמו שראיתם בוובינר, חיסה בגובה 10,000 רגל, מוצרים מאוד מאוד רחבים. נתנו סקירה קצרה על מגוון המוצרים שפורטרה מציעה להגנה על תשתיות רגישות. אני רוצה גם לציין שפורטרה מתמקדת בתחום נוסף, שזה עולם ההגנה על מידע רגיש, פתרונות בעולם ה-MFT, DLP, DRM ועוד. אתם כמובן מוזמנים לבקר באתר של פורטרה. אנחנו בהמשך, כמו שציינתי, גם נצא בסדרת וובינרים עם דיפ דייב והנדס זון על כל אחד מהמוצרים, ואנחנו נפרסם את זה. אני לא זוכר אם נגעת בנקודה עם מנואל, אבל אני רק אזכיר שכל אחד מהמוצרים שעמנואל הזכיר יכול להיות מוצר עצמאי, זאת אומרת אפשר לקנות את פורטרה VM או פורטרה קובולט-סטרייק, או לקנות את הפלטפורמה המלאה, כולל האינטגרציה ביניהם. אז קודם כל תודה רבה. כמה שאלות שעלו, ועלתה שאלה טכנית, זה עמנואל אליך, זה how does core impact allow me to create my own exploits?
Yes, definitely yes. You can create your own exploit in Python. So we have a developer guide that explains step by step how you can create your own exploit. So yeah, I mentioned that you can edit your exploits. Indeed, you can create your own exploits from scratch using Core Impact.
תודה. שאלה נוספת, שהיא שאלה מסחרית, נוגעת יותר אליך צבי, זה בנושא של רישוי קור וקובולט-סטרייק. השאלה היא, מהו מודל הרישוי של מוצרי קור וקובולט-סטרייק?
Okay, very good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, good question. I would just expand this actually to all our offensive security, so which includes Core Impact, CobbleStrike, and OST. Essentially, because they're considered a weapon by the US government, the licenses are assigned to a specific user. That's really, really important. There's no sharing of licenses. But what's really interesting, I think, if you order a license, is that you actually get an unlimited number of assets that you can test and an unlimited number of projects that you can test and use per each license. So that's really, you can test 100,000 projects, in a year, whatever you can do, and assets. So there's no limitation on that. All right.
שאלה נוספת שהיא נוגעת, אני חושב שגם אני אוכל לעלות עליה, בעצם מי הם ערוצי ההפצה בארץ, זאת אומרת איך מבצעים את הרכש של מוצרים, אם רוצים לעשות POC או דמוים, אז אני אענה ברשותך לשאלה הזאת. אנחנו כמובן עובדים מול אינטגרטורים וחברות אבטחת מידע וכמובן נשתף אתכם גם עם הוובינר מוקלט, ואתם מוזמנים לפנות אלינו ואנחנו נחבר אתכם לאינטגרטור המועדף במידה ויש לכם כזה. אז קודם כל תודה לכולכם, אני מקווה שקיבלתם תועלת מהוובינר המאוד ממוקד הזה, וניפגש כמובן בוובינרים הבאים. ועמנואל וצבי, אתם גאווה ישראלית, גם גרים בארץ, גם בחברה שעוסקת בתחום חשוב מאוד, וניפגש בהמשך. תודה רבה והמשך יום טוב.
ביי, ליצור, תודה
תודה,
לכם.
להתראות, תודה.
ביי ביי.